Yo, welcome back to another video. Now in today's video, we're going to do something a little different than normal. Usually it's more gameplay based, but I'm just going to be talking about the current sneak for update 6, and then also another topic that I want to talk about that I haven't really had the chance to, and this just gives me an excuse to, because I'm not going to be talking about update 6 and the sneak for that long. So I thought I'd add it onto this video as well. And that is talking about missed potential within anime tower defenses in general. Now I'm not talking about anime Vanguards specifically, because a certain thing that I want to talk about hasn't exactly happened yet, but if it does ever happen and it does go the way that I think it would, I feel like it's pretty missed out potential, especially with anime Vanguards having passives and like each unit having their own kit. That'll be later in the video. So first, let's talk about the sneak that came out just today, I believe, and that is for update 6, and the thematic being around Guilty Gear. Now I already knew what Guilty Gear was before this sneak came out, so I reacted positively. Oh my god, Guilty Gear, this is kind of cool. Seeing it in anime Vanguards would be great. Guilty Gear is a PvP fighting game that is very anime-esque when it comes to the visual and art style. I do not know too much about the game series in general, just very basic, because I learned about Guilty Gear through when Guilty Gear Strive got released. This was back when I was playing a lot of Dragon Ball Fighters. That's how I found out about the game and its IP. Outside of that, I do not know anything about the game. I don't know any characters, any sorts like that. So yeah, basically from a person viewing this very far away, I think this is a good thing, especially not having constant mainstream animes being added to anime tower defenses or anime Vanguards constantly is a good thing. Being able to go off the path a little bit, trying out something new, something refreshing, I think is pretty good. Just not getting like another mainstream anime. This isn't to say that anime Vanguards has already gone through every mainstream anime and they're trying to not do repeated anime, because we have not had a lot of anime added into the game. It's just more or less like you also got to consider other tower defenses are also updating their games and adding mainstream animes to their games. So it's safe to say that they don't want to be following updates of other tower defenses or trying to do similar thematics to other tower defenses like within a certain time frame of each other. This just helps the whole, it just makes it so it's not so saturated when it comes to seeing the same updates over and over again. I think it's pretty good. That is my opinion. I'm sure there are some people that disagree, but hey, to each their own. So now let me go on to the other thing that I want to talk about, since I only briefly wanted to talk about the Guilty Gear Strive or Guilty Gear in general. Okay, so the next thing that I want to talk about is not exactly prevalent within anime Vanguards, but I hope they don't follow suit with other anime tower defenses, and that is missing the potential within each of these updates that they do for the same anime as they go on through like their life cycle. When an update comes out, let's say it's a Naruto update, we get a Sage Naruto. Later on, maybe a couple months down the line, we get another Naruto update. Most of the time, people expect that Sage Naruto to be updated and evolved into a new Naruto. I kind of wish this was not the case for one main reason. If it is following the same arc, it does make sense. Sure, you can update or evolve the same Naruto, but especially going from like the Sage Naruto into the Karuma Cloak Naruto, these are two different versions of the same character that can potentially have their own unique kits and identities to them. The most prevalent when I'm talking about this is Kid Naruto from the Valley of End fight against Sasuke. He is very aggressive, I'd say quick attacking, you know, kind of doesn't exactly care about his own safety, just wants to attack because he is enraged. And then we have Karuma Cloak Naruto from Shinobi War. This is a heavy hitter, can do huge attacks and be a support by providing his cloak to other people. Like, you can clearly tell the differences between these characters. They don't need to be the same character that will eventually get evolved into their best form. I would love to be able to see the same character and their own different iterations having different units. I feel like that would be a great opportunity, especially for anime Vanguards having such a big priority and having cool, unique kits, to be able to see that within this. This was never really a problem when it came to other anime tower defenses, because most of the time before even passives existed, it was more or less it's an old unit, they get evolved into an updated stats unit. That was essentially what it was. Sure, they got new attacks and everything, pretty much about it. It definitely is the biggest missed potential if it were to come to anime Vanguards, updating current units in the game to newer versions. Now, that is not to say there are some arguments that come along with this. First off, power scaling I guess when it comes to these different versions and iterations of the same character, the Kid Naruto is not going to be the same strength as a Karuma Naruto, but that is not to say that we have to follow the same thing when it comes to in-game. We can have a powerful, cool, unique Kid Naruto with its own identity and kit that is the same power or maybe slightly less than a Karuma Cloak Naruto in the game as well. Like, it'd be cool to have two different iterations of the character that we can choose and pick from to use without needing to just only always evolve into the next form of a character. Next up to say is talking about power creep. An older unit is not going to be better than a newer unit. Well, one thing to say is the developers have been trying very hard at kind of removing that power creep within stats and putting more power within passives itself. Now, we can have newer ways of updating or like bringing power back to older units that isn't just evolving them into their new, better form. We can have like Dokkan Battle and Easy A. It just gives an update to the kit, making it more refreshed and modernized. So yeah, there are other ways of being able to do that. Different iterations of characters being separate units in the game. One of the main things is it creates too many characters within the game. Yes, I understand that, but at the same time, it gives us a bigger opportunity to create different and unique builds, not always having the exact same characters on each team. Maybe people could like this version of a character compared to another version of a character. That is one thing that I would love to see within the game, instead of just having the same character that we have only have one unit and it eventually getting evolved into the best form that they have. I wish it was different, but that is mainly the expected reaction for people to have when it comes to new or the same anime updates. That is also to say that with updates, it would be cool to have them be more themed around certain arcs within an anime. Just like Dragon Ball recently, their Dragon Ball update was based all around the Buu Saga update. This is very cool. We have a Buu Saga Goku and Vegeta that turn into a Vegito. That is, then we can have a future Dragon Ball Super update and we can have a Goku and Vegeta that turn into a Vegito Blue. These can be two separate units. They don't need to be the same unit. They can do different things. This is what I mean. Like, having full kits for separate iterations of characters would be so much better than just having the same character eventually get evolved up into like their best form, so to say. This is also an example of Sukuna. People want a double evolution for Sukuna so badly because he is not the greatest unit. Sure, I think probably the best option for him is to give him a double evolution, but that's not to say that this double evolution will make him turn into a Megumin Sukuna. This Megumin Sukuna is like a summoner. He can have Maharaga and everything. You can turn the current Sukuna into a Itadori version of Sukuna, where he goes back to being Itadori and can at some point in the game transform into a Sukuna Itadori, which I feel like would be a lot better than just going to like a later version of the character. But yeah, I don't want to ramble about it too much, but that is my take when it comes to missed potential within anime games. They kind of just ignore that each version of the same character can be different units and have different kits. They don't just constantly need to evolve and get better and better over time. So yeah, that is pretty much all I have to say. There's a little bit of a rant, but I hope Anime Vanguards, I trust them that they could potentially do this, because they have done a specific arc for Dragon Ball, and I'm sure if they do another arc for Dragon Ball, they're not going to just take those Dragon Ball units and evolve them again. So that's all I have to say. I appreciate it if you've made it this far through the video. See ya.